When it comes to buying watches, what is it that you guys look for? Is it the quality of the case finishing? Because these are exceptional. These are brilliant. Is it the movement? Is it the design language? Is it the practicality of the watch? Whatever the case, we all have different reasons why we buy watches. And today I've got some interesting watches. I really want to share these with you guys. They fall in an unusual category and I think you'll find them very practical and pretty cool. Let's check these out. Welcome back to the channel, guys. So as you can see, we've got two watches here. This video is sponsored by this company. They've sent these two watches out to me. You know what? I don't need two watches. I'm actually going to give one of these watches away to you. I'm going to give this particular one away at the end of this video. I'll explain all that, but very interesting watches. I wanted to share this with you guys because I found these watches quite unique in the design, in the case finishing. Like I explained at the start of the intro, is wow. Like it's really well finished. There's a cross between beautiful bevels, highly polished, nice satin brushing. The tolerances are good. So this is why I asked the question, what do you pay for when you get a watch? Do you look for the quality finish, or do you look for a really nice movement, or the overall design? A combination of all? I don't know. Nonetheless, let's get stuck into these. Let me explain what we have here, guys. I measure the case diameter at exactly 41 millimeters. The case height comes in at 12.6 mil. We have a lug-to-lug distance of 51.6 and a lug width, well, we don't because it's an integrated bracelet. Now, both the crowns of this watch are 7.4 millimeter crowns. They have onyx black, they're smooth finished, and one of the crowns is a screw-down crown which offers 100 meters of water resistance. And the overall weight of the watch comes in at 169 grams, sized to my 18 centimeter wrist. On the wrist, as you can see, the watch fits quite comfortably. It's a 41 millimeter edge to edge, I measure there, but it is a 51.6 from there to there. And as you can see, it's actually an integrated bracelet. Now, if we have a close look at that bracelet, as you can see, the finishing is superb. The beveled edges, the high polish chamfer, you've got high polish on the edges. It's a H-link. It actually tapers from 25 millimeters down to 15.7 mil, and it actually drops straight down. There you go. So it's a true 51.6 mil, which is a little bit large for certain people, but I found that the stability, the way it wears, you saw my wrist shot, it wears really well. Looking at that clasp, we've got a milled clasp, as you can see, milled fold over, pressed clasp with 7 micro adjustments. So there's plenty of room for micro adjustability. Now this is where the watch gets very interesting, because as you saw, the finishing of the cases are superb. They've done really well. Even that bezel is a fixed bezel, and you can see the screws, they all line up perfectly all the way through. The chamfers, the polishing, it's done nicely. I can't fault the watches as far as the finishing. They're done really nicely. Now when it comes to practicality, they're also practical, because you can see that you've got that inner rotating bezel, and it's a timing bezel. You basically set it, and not being a screw down crown, I found that it's actually practical. I've been using it to time things, whether you put a steak on the barbecue or something, it does work. And being at the 2 o'clock, it's actually easy to access on the wrist when in use. So that's pretty cool. Now the movements of both watches are Seiko NH35 instruments. They have 42-hour power reserve, hacking, hand winding, they're automatic. And the crown at the bottom, we can unscrew it. There you go, it pops out. We can hack the movement, as you can see it's stopped, and we can adjust the time. It also has a date at the 6. A single click will allow us to adjust that. There you go. Lock that in. The hand winding experience is actually quite surprising, quite nice. A good resistance from that Seiko, and the latch down experience, buttery smooth. First time, you've got 100 meters of water resistance. So that's where I think maybe, that's why I asked the question at the start of this video. What are you paying for? Are you paying for the movement? Are you paying for the finishing, the design, the practicality, the comfort? What is it? Look, a lot of us make decisions based on different criteria. I get that. And we've got a watch here because it's not expensive, it's not inexpensive. This comes in at $457 US. That comes in at $418 US. So the price is not neither here nor there, but I think you're pretty much paying for the design language, the finishing and the case, the overall finished product, regardless of what's in there as a movement. Because we know the Seiko Instruments movement is very reliable. It'll go on and on and on for 20 years, mostly without a service. But moving on, let's get onto the lume of these watches. Both watches offer strontium aluminate lume. And if you look at the lume shots on these things, for me, this is where the watch is let down. The hands glow on both of them quite nicely, but I think the markers, the indices, it pretty much lets it down, and it doesn't last. It really doesn't last. And I think both these watches are screaming out for a little bit more lume. Now, all watches have positives and negatives, and with these particular ones, the negatives I can find, and I'll say negative is because you've got an integrated bracelet which doesn't allow for strap changes, and that's a shame. It would have been nice if they actually provided maybe a leather strap as well, or a rubber strap as well, just to take away a little bit of that weight. The watch does come in at 169 grams, but in saying that, it has been balanced well because the weight of the head as well as the bracelet is nicely balanced. So integrated bracelet is one thing. The lume, a definite must. I think both watches need a lot more lume. You know, they're using strontium aluminate. It would have been nice for Superluminova or something with a bit more punch and longevity. That would have been great. The lug-to-lug distance is a potential another negative at 51.6 mil. That will be slightly big for certain people. And probably the way the watch wears. Even though it's a 41 mil, the watch actually wears a little bit bigger. It looks more like a 42, 43 mil on the wrist because of the shape and the fact that it's a pretty much slab-sided. It's a flat-sided watch, so it does wear a little bit bigger than 41 would suggest. What are the positives of the watch? Well, for me, practicality. They are a very practical watch as far as how they work, their legibility, having an inner rotating bezel. I've actually found it useful. I've found this useful throughout the week, so that's been pretty good. Number two positive, that finishing is exceptional. That finishing at this price point is really good, so they haven't skimped out on the quality of the case finishing, which is great. Even the case back, let's have a look. You've got a nice solid case back, simple, clean design. I think the elements here work, they all seem to work well with each other. Positive number three is the legibility. I think the Arabics, the hands, they work really well. It's a practical watch, it works. And as an overall design with the two crowns, the fact that this one's not a screw down crown does actually make it a lot easier to operate when it's on the wrist. So overall, a decent piece. I think, look, for the money, you're pretty much paying for the case finishing on these. The overall final product of what you're getting. You've got a nice sapphire crystal. The AR coating seems to be doing a great job on both of these watches, so I've not had reflection issues. So a lot of people, and I'm only sharing this video, guys, because a lot of you guys complain, oh, not another NH35. I get it, we're over it, yep, no problems. But it is what it is. It is what it is. If this had a Miyota with this sort of finishing, or if this had a ETA movement, Sellita, you'd be paying a lot more money, closer to the $700, $600 or $700 range. So at that price point, I think it's worth it. Something to look at, something different, something interesting. Let me know what your thoughts are. Now, like I said, I will be giving away one of the watches. I'm going to give this away. This is actually a very interesting color. It's a really nice sunburst effect. So I want someone to experience this. I want someone to experience this to see what it feels like, what it's like on the wrist, and its practicality as far as in use. So all you got to do, guys, just tell me in the comments, what do you like about these watches? And that's it. I'll put it through a random comment picker and I'll pick a winner, and I'll contact you guys in 5 days. I'll put the winner on the community tab. If you guys are contacted by somebody, if you get an email saying that congrats, you've won this, that, it's not me. It's not me. I'm just letting you know it's not me. I will only post the winner on my community tab on my YouTube channel. Have a look. You got 2 weeks to contact me. Let me know and I'll send that watch out. But if you don't like the watches, guys, that's cool too. Let me know. Just say, Pete, I don't like this, XYZ factor, whatever it is. But here are the watches. I wanted to present them to you about where the money goes towards certain watches. An interesting company. I did enjoy its practicality. I think a few little areas shaven here and there from some weight, maybe a removable bracelet with an option of a leather or rubber would have been great as well. But overall, for a sports watch, it's called the Alpha Sailor Sports Watch. Pretty cool for adventures on the sea, the land, or the air. Something different, something a little bit more unique, robust, but really well finished. Thank you for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.